morning, Simon. Didn't see you there. I'm hating StreamYards because I have to get up kind of close sometimes to, I suppose cleaning my glasses might help. How are you this evening? I think I have that right. I I usually go live real early Sunday mornings, and so I just didn't get with it today. So I thought I would go. I didn't see anybody else being live, so I thought I would just kind of go live. Wally, good morning, or good morning for me. I'm not sure where you're at, Wally. Simon is in the UK, and Simon, you're in the Bristol area, as I recall. Does that sound right? I just uh, I just subscribed to a sort of a jazz duo. Oh, what are their names? From Bristol. They subscribe to me, so I subscribe to them. Two names. See if I can find them. Because I think they just left me a comment. Natalie and Dave. I don't remember they have another name. Small Days 1, Natalie Davis and Dave M. I don't know his last name, but they're from Bristol and they do kind of jazz standards. She sings and he plays guitar. Occasionally they have a visiting, looks like they have a visiting bass player or a visiting sax player or something like that. Sean, good morning. Sean, I finally did a bass video. Not a very good one, but it was fun. I dug one out of storage here. This is an old, I forget now, 2007 Flying V. And when I bought it, I'm going to do a video on it. I don't want to give away too much. It was much like the double cuts I tried right before the virus broke out that had terrible fretwork. Now I'm feeling this one, and it's superior to the one that I tried right before the virus. So, and I've kind of I had to get my Dave Davies on, you know. Everybody says, "Oh, Albert King." I was like, "Yeah, but back in the day when I was a kid, it was the Kinks for me." So that sort of thing. Hurricane Moon. Good evening, I think, to you as well. You and Simon both. Oh, Halface, how are you? I didn't see. Whoa. Drink, do not inhale. Nelson, hello, good morning. I thought I'd just do a quick one. I'm going to do a video on a 2007 Flying V. It's really interesting. I think I paid, well, I'll give the video away. I'll do the video right now, I guess. I paid about $750 for this back in 2007 and questioned whether I was just buying it. I think I just wanted it because it just looked so cool when I was a kid and I always wanted one. So, I had to have it. And then within a couple of years, we used to do guitar shows and we'd sell off all our excess gears. Now there's no guitar shows around, but and so I tried to sell it. I still have the hang tag on it from probably 2010. I tried to sell it with the original gig bag for 6 1/4, about $125 less, and no shipping if you sell it at a garage at a guitar show. And I got no bites whatsoever. And I thought, oh, I bought a dog that's just I'm never gonna sell this. And then at some point, I don't know if it was the same guitar show or a different one, but I tried to sell it for 404 1/4, and it sat there all day and nobody even tried it. So I put 400 on it, and I thought, okay, it's $350 off the new price, and nobody touched it. Nobody even looked at it. Now I'm looking at them, and everybody's saying, "Oh man, they're great. They're one of the best," and they're selling for 950 to 1050, 1100, sometimes even more. So yeah, they're not easy to work with that. I mean, you can sit down and put that lower horn. If you fold your legs, you can hook that horn down between your legs and kind of. I'm going to adjust that camera just a little bit there. So Wally, I know. Oh, Bruce Brooks, didn't see you there. Yeah. Oh, I did see you there. I read your comment. I didn't realize that. I misread it with somebody else, and Jimmy Bider as well. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm just thought I'd do this, and I'm trying to find a backing track. Oh shoot. Ah. Small Days, Natalie Davis and Dave. I don't know. Do I have both of you here, or just Dave or Natalie, or who do I have? You folks are from, yes, Bristol. Yes. Say hi to Simon, who's from out in the outskirts somewhere. Simon Williams. So, yes, welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing. I subscribed Small Days. Now, a lot of us here are those rock and rollers. Um, Small Days does some great. I jump back and forth from two different worlds of being an old rock and roll blues guy and then wanting to play sort of like old jazz standards. And so Small Days plays. They do a lot of really good old jazz standards, and I've watched about 4 of their videos so far, and it's just it's really enjoyable. So feel free to subscribe to them. I want to give a couple shout outs to folks. I bet you everybody here probably knows who Metalhead Hippie is and his shows. And he's on, I think he has a third show now, but I know he's on Sunday nights tonight, Sunday nights for us. And he's on Tuesday nights, but I think he has a new show for the European folks, and I don't know what time or what day that is. So he has a really good show, and what he does is sort of showcase. He'll showcase all your videos, and it's kind of fun to go in there and hang out for a while and just see a lot of different styles of music and a lot of different folks with a lot of different talents. So it's usually quite a treat. Oh, his European one is Friday night. Is that right? Well, I see somebody saying, "Hey, hippie, is he here?" He can tell us. Joseph. Joseph, tell me where you're from. I'm up in Oregon, by the way, in case anybody's wondering, up in the great Pacific Northwest. Be about 9 p.m. UK time on yeah. So he has a good show. You know, if you just go by, they're long shows. They're like 3 hours long or something. And so if you just go by and hang out for an hour and watch some videos, and you know, some you might like, some you might not, but it's all people doing their thing, and I think that's great. And I think it's a good service, you know, and hopefully he picks up some folks uh, for his channel, and the people that are being showcased will pick up some too. Like the other one I want to give a shout out to is Andrew in New Zealand, Fender Guru. He um, he scored a great. He always has every Saturday night my time at 10:30 p.m. West Coast time. He does a UK sort of a British blues and beyond kind of discussion, and um, yeah, hippies non-genre. Yeah, there's nothing real specific. It'll be metal to folk, singer-songwriter stuff, and everything in between. Yeah, yeah. Ah, you're out in Vermont. Okay, I asked that. I should remember that. I try to remember. But there's another fellow with a great Italian last name, first name Joseph, and he lives just south of me a few miles. So, and so I keep getting the two of you guys mixed up. Um, yeah, so Andrew scored last week. Go back and watch it. He scored one with Sam Cutler, who was the road manager for the Rolling Stones. He scored an interview, and him and Carl interviewed Sam for about an hour and a half, I think. Um, and Simon is usually the co-host on the Saturday night program, as he was last night. And then on the Sam Cutler interview, Andrew's friend Carl was there too. And Sam Cutler's an interesting guy. So if you have the time and you want to watch a historic interview on the history of things, I mean, Sam Cutler was at all those big concerts with the Stones, and then later, I think, with the Dead, as I recall. So it's really worth. And he's living down in Australia now, and uh, living the good life as we have all grown old. So, ah, oh, and Axis, you're up in New Hampshire, so you know, I did it a little later. I thought, well, I'll do it a little later because when I do it on Sunday morning, my time at 6 or 6:30, it's you know East Coast folks are able to kind of join in, but most of my fellow West Coasters are still sound asleep. So I don't get much from the West Coast. So I thought I would do that. And for those who haven't seen, I'm messing about with a boy. If you try to put this thing on your lap without your legs being, it just doesn't work. And they put the strap here. I would have thought they would have put the strap maybe in the back somehow or something. I don't know. Thrash, I think Thrash, is it you that has a six-string bass that your dad or grandfather owned? And welcome, by the way. Rhodey, you're in Kansas. Wow. I am, as you can see, I'm a little OCD about where people are from. I'm just fascinated that in my lifetime we went from my dad trying to move an antenna to pick up a single station. Maybe we'll get a station and we'll be able to watch some TV when I was a child in Walla Walla, where there were no stations. Uh, yeah, you have the Japanese. Yeah, I mentioned you in my bass video because I'm still thinking about, is there a six-string bass out there I can get? Oh, wow, Bruce, you have a friend up in Tigard. I'm about 50 miles south of Tigard. Yeah, I'm down in the Salem area. Salem's the capital. Portland's the protest. I hate that whole Portland protest thing because you know what? That whole protest takes up 2 blocks of the downtown area where the federal courthouse is most of the time. And the rest of Portland's just fine. Yeah, you have the base six. Yeah, yeah. Phil Lesh played one with the Dead. Now, my bass influences early on was Chaz Chandler. Well, it was my older brother. My older brothers had a rock band pre-Beatles, and so my older brother was my early influence, and other local bass players. But when the British invasion hit, it was Chaz Chandler from the Animals and Chris White from the Zombies more than. Oh wow, he gigged the Bay Area, and oh man, that must have been a scene. That's cool. What a great story. Some point, Thrash, you should go on and kind of on somebody's channel. I don't know how to do that, but you should go on for an interview and kind of. Yeah, Sam Cutler was a treat. The guy was really something. He's still full of vim and vinegar. Yeah, that's right. He would have fit right in with Spinal Tap, right? But he's the real deal. Yeah, yeah. So Portland's actually you just hear about Portland, and of course last night there was a shooting during the protest, sadly. So, but I mean it's no, I don't know that Portland's out of control at all. I mean it's really downtown, and it's about a 2 block area. Down there, you could park in one of the parking garages, and you could walk all around Portland, avoid those 2 blocks, and you'd be fine. You know. So yeah, I think it's overplayed a little bit. It's just because it's an every night thing. You know, they're. So Sean, I'm going to bore everybody else. I do have some more bases coming up. They're nothing special at all. I'll give it all away. It's the inexpensive imported Hofner Beetle bass, and it's a hey guitar hack. There's a shout out to give. Uh oh.
I got my wires crossed there. Could you?
Yes, you did. I don't know if you something popped up on. I have a new laptop, and with my first Windows 10 experience, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, these V's are those faded V's that were sold in the early 2000s. I think I paid 750ish for it, as I recall, and regretted it almost immediately. Now they're going for about 1,000. It had not great fretwork, and I don't know if it's soaked up some moisture, perhaps, because the fretwork is not so bad now as I recall it. So I haven't played it in years because it's just really hard to hold. I play sitting down all the time. I don't play stand up at all anymore. So, but it sounds great. It sounds really good. Well, I don't know if you'll hear it through the E band. These are the original strings, and they look like they're still pretty good. And of course, I still have the plastic on it. So yeah, shout out to Hack. Hack has been putting out some great interviews and some great streams, and then and Hack, you've been doing sort of those jam videos lately, and I'm loving that. You had an Alembic. Wow, those are spendy. Huh? Wow. Yeah, I don't think I'll get away with too much jazz today. Maybe. Yeah, yeah, we had, yeah, yeah. It's interesting trying to play jazz with overdrive. Try uh, so just to keep you interested. I'm losing my chat here. So just to keep you interested, Small Days, I do have some more Jazz Box videos coming out. uh, got a couple more. Thinking about buying another one actually, but I can't find one. I'm looking. I have a Peerless. I have a D'Esperanto that's made by Peerless, but I'm interested in the Peerless Porttown, which is a kind of a Charlie Christian knockoff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of the newer. Yeah, that would be interesting. And I have that. I'm playing through an E band, and I think the E band is the greatest practice amp ever invented. It really it comes with all those backing tracks, but you can also make your own. I've been kind of offline a little bit because I'm doing Christmas music in August. If you're going to do Christmas music and jazzy Christmas kind of stuff, you have to. If you think one year I said, well, I'll do that in October, and of course you get bogged down, and pretty soon it's November and it's Thanksgiving, and you're still not ready. So you have to start it in July or August if you're going to do a CD or if you're going to do a gig or anything like that. So I've actually got 3 Christmas videos already done that will be out starting Thanksgiving Day here in the States. So, yeah, I've got a few videos up on. They're not really knockoffs, but they're a no cutaway guitar, single pickup. I have a real inexpensive Washburn that I really like, and I have the Godin Kingpin. Is that what it's called? And I have an Ibanez AF 84, which are the no cutaway Charlie wannabes. So, but Bill Frisell, yeah, man. Uh, who plays Bruce? If you watch Tim Lurch here on YouTube, he quite often uses a Telecaster, doing all sorts of my old. I'm sorry. It's time for my walk. I sorry, I gotta go. No, I don't. I'm not gonna go. um, yeah, my old story is I walked into a guitar center and there was somebody in the back playing some really a big hollow body jazz guitar, and they were quite good, and it sounded delicious. And I ran towards the back of the store and came around the corner to find some fellow playing a Telecaster through a small solid state amp, and it just sounded absolutely luscious. And he was doing all jazz stuff, and so he talked and he was telling me I could never duplicate it, but he plays in the neck pickup and adjusts the tone. He knew how to tweak it. Jay, welcome. I saw your comment the other day, Jay, and commented back. It was good to see you back. So. Um, Yeah, yeah. I'm a old school. I like well, I think we like who we grew up with probably, or who we heard in our youth, in our younger years. And yeah, Hack, your Telecaster is a cut above, man alive. Yours and Mitch are man. I've got, I think, just one American Telecaster. I haven't done a video on it yet. I think it's, I think they made a Highway One Telecaster. I have a Highway One Strat, and I think I bought the Telecaster, and it was sold to me used as a Highway One Telecaster, and I don't know if it's real or not. I have to look the serial now. I have to do some research. Mr. Chaos, how are you, sir? Good to see you. So, ah, I missed Q was on a live stream this morning, and I missed his live stream. I think it was a live stream, but I just saw it after the fact, after I kind of got up and got breakfast and well, got my coffee anyway. Jay, I think you might be onto something. I have a regular Fender thin line because Tab Benoit had one, and I'm a big Tab fan. And yeah, I've never quite connected with it. You know, it's got humbuckers in it instead of the regular Telly pickups. It plays great. The neck is just a pinch thicker than most of my other Tellys. I think I haven't. I did a video on it a few months ago. Uh, I should pull it out again. I should look at the stats on it. It seems to me that the neck was just a little thicker and beefier and not. You're right, Deja. Man, are you right? Michael, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Um, yeah, mine has just the most beautiful wood. I show that on the video. Look at this wood, and then I think, gosh, I just have no. I love semi hollows, and there's something about that that doesn't. When I'm playing it, I don't even think of it as a semi hollow. It feels like a Strat with humbuckers, you know. So it sounds great. It plays great. I have no complaints with any. You know, I mean, it works just fine. They do have a chunkier neck, so it's not my imagination. I was just thinking back to that video I did. That was the first time I had played it in ages, and I haven't played it since. So, um, yeah, I think I do need some sort of different amp. You never know what you're going to. E-band's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, that's about the same. I think there's a bunch of them that sound very similar. E-band actually, it's a Boss GT100 built into a little. For the few of you I haven't shown it to, it's just a little thing like that, in different styles, and it actually sounds pretty good. And I actually use that. I've used that going through for practice purposes. It sounds just fine on its own. It's loud enough. And then if I really want to beef it up, I put it through a 300 watt. I wish I'd have bought the 12-inch model. I think this is a 10-inch speaker. Yeah, 10-inch powered speaker. And then you can EQ it, and it really starts to sound pretty good. And so I've done like a one-man Christmas jazz. I hesitate to call it jazz. I always joke I'm not a real jazz player. I just play one on YouTube. So yes, Harley, welcome. Yes, this is a 2000. I cannot remember, 2007 or a 2005. One of those faded flying V's, and I thought I really made a mistake. Um, because it really has a rough quality to it. The neck's pretty good. The neck seems to me to be a little bit wider than most of my guitars from top to bottom, but fairly thin from front to back. So I don't know. That's just how it feels to me. I'm the worst person to. If somebody says, "Is that a U-shaped modified neck or a C-shaped vintage?" and I couldn't tell you one way or the other. They all feel sort of CU shaped, and some slightly thicker and flatter than others. But oh, an AS 103, yeah, those are good. The AF 84 was a limited run they put out. It's a no cutaway at all with a single floating pickup. I haven't played it for a while. Floating, I think it's a floating pickup, and I like it just because it's a novelty. But it's slightly, I should major, slightly smaller body. It's got great tone and it's great playability, so I like that a lot. But I also have one of those real inexpensive Washburn no cutaways, and that thing's amazing. But I got the same model in a cutaway, and it's not so amazing. I'm going to do a video on it pretty soon. It sounds like a neck on a 58, really. Yeah. Now Hack would know. He would know whether it's what type of neck that might be. I looked it up just this morning, and everything said it's absolutely a mahogany body. And mahogany, I thought was a real heavy wood, and this thing's not that heavy. I mean, on one hand, it's huge, right, from top to bottom. On the other hand, there's missing spaces. And all of them I looked at came in on Reverb and places like that said the weight was all right, just under 7 pounds. So you got a Japanese one, really? I didn't know there were. Wow. Well, don't buy a V, or I have an Explorer as well. I mean, that thing's huge, but on the other hand, it sits a little better. If you're going to buy a V, really ask yourself. I mean, to me, it's just almost got to be played. You can play it sitting down. You fold your legs and you put that bottom wing in between, and now you got it here. and it'll sit okay. How many guitars are in my collection? I don't know. You've seen most of them if you go back and look at all my videos. That's most of them. I think I have about, I'm going to guess that I have about 10 more to do. I lost track. I started buying them, just guitars I always wanted or guitars I liked, back around 2000, 2005 in there. So the 58 is thicker from top to bottom. Is it thicker front to back also? I love. I should pull it out again. I don't know why I don't play it, but I have the Nighthawk, and that's my Les Paul. It's not, it's a different scale length, and but I love the Burst Bucker pickups that are in that thing. I love that it's smaller than a Les Paul, and it just fits really. It just has a nice fit to it on the Nighthawk. I'm going to carve this section out right here, so I have a knee. I can right there, just a little groove. I think that'll work just fine. Yeah, the original V's were Carina, weren't they? And Gibson marketed that, and the thing I read said that they trademarked it. And I thought, wait a minute, Carina's a wood. But I guess maybe it wasn't called. Now everybody uses Carina. All Reverend guitars, I think, are. Well, I don't know about all of them, but most of them are all Carina. Oh wow, Nelson, you're in a home from the 40s. Clay pipes. Wow. I don't. I'm in my house. The house I'm in right here, right now, it was built in 1940. And wow, I'm sorry to hear that, Nelson. Yeah, mine don't have clay pipes. So I don't know if they redid it. You have a Korean no name Eagle V. Wow. Yeah, the Nighthawks they were a steal. They were about $1,000 new, and they didn't have. I mean, a lot of people kind of dig this faded cherry business. They actually had a really good finish on them. I forget their three choices. Mine's a silver burst, and the other one was they did make a gold top. Boy, if I come across a used Nighthawk or something in a gold top. Um, hey, Truth Guitar Method. Hello. Epiphone's coming back out with a Nighthawk. Really? Cool. I've actually been looking for a mint condition. The problem is they only made them for a few years, and now they're getting older, so you don't find them in mint condition. But I'm looking for a blues hawk of some sort. Yeah, I think I have a PRS also. My Reverends, like the semi-hollow bodies, I think they're only semi-hollow on top and maybe slightly chambered below, but those things, they're less paw heavy. Huh. Yeah, I still have the pickguard on mine, but I just like how it feels. It's Les Paul shape for those who don't know. The Nighthawk is Les Paul shape, but it's just a slightly smaller body, and it's a 25.5-inch scale length. But I actually wouldn't mind if they came out with something like that with the 24 3/4. can't find any info. Wow, interesting. I love guitars like that. There's a guy that owns the sheet music store and keyboard store up. He had some weird acoustic guitar, and I searched and I searched and I searched and couldn't find anything. And he didn't want to sell it. And I said, if you ever do, call me, because I will. Because you could just tell it was made in Japan and it was really high quality. And at first I thought it was something um, like a Yairi or something like that, but yeah, when they first came out, yeah, really, Answer to the Strat. I didn't know that. Um, Mine was a reissue. The original ones they had all sorts of different pickup configurations, including I think at one point, well, it might have just been the upper one, but a three pickup, and one of them was slanted. Then they came out with what they called the 2011 Studio, and that's the one I got, and it's just two burst buckers, so it's not really. Wow, Thrash, I would hold on to that and just keep looking. Hi, Mitch. Welcome aboard. Wow, we've been going 45 minutes already. Yeah, how was your flight, Mitch? It didn't look like it ended too well. Yeah. Yeah, Robert Clark, welcome. I didn't see you there. Yeah, it is the mystery. Deja. It's there's I suspect all sorts of ones, and who knows? Did they use a well-known factory and they just did a few off kind of one-offs for a few of them? I can never. You know what? I've been around so many years, and I can still never remember. The Firebird is the one with the reverse headstock, and the Thunderbird's regular, or is that? Do I have it back? Remember when they first came out, they said the Firebird was the regular headstock, even though it was upside down. And then the Thunderbird, when it came out, they said with reverse headstock, even though it was normal in some of their advertising, and it was really confusing. Yeah, Lois just called. Yeah, I better go get that. Yeah, that was a gift from my ex-girlfriend's daughter. Actually, it was a very nice one, special compliment. Oh, the Thunderbird's a bass. Well, what's the other one they make besides a Firebird? Um, See, that tells you the story of Gibson. Only rich kids could afford Gibsons when I was a kid. So I started out, you'll get a kick out of this. I started out, my first actual guitar was a bass guitar. And my older brother had played in a band. He was in a band. And he started off with a Framus four-string bass from made in Germany, Framus, as we now know. And he traded it off for a Fender. His first bass and my first bass were the same same bass, but it was a Framus solid body. I don't remember what they called it, stiletto or something like that. And They were good little basses for their time. They weren't made to. You don't see too many of them around because most of them didn't last very long. Um, but yeah, Framus made basses. That was when the dad owned it before the son took over. Now they make just guitars. They actually made a reproduction of the guitar. They made that same guitar, that bass, as a six-string too. So that was my first six-string guitar. Was my other brother's beat up old used. I paid too much for it. It was 125. He went in the service and needed some extra cash, and I had some extra cash, and so it was just this beat up old 1962 Stratocaster. So I bought it from him for 100 and a quarter, played it for a few years, and sold it off for 150, $25 just like that. Yeah, huh? It was in 8 years though. The frets were gone, the finish was gone, everything. It was really in bad shape. So when people talk about modern day Fenders, I think, they're built to last. I'm not sure they were back then. I still don't like that amp. Well, I think if you look, Robert, if you look at the Eppies, I always say on the older Eppies, now I hear the new ones that came out here last year are better quality. A Hagstrom too. Okay. Anyway, Robert, I think if you go back and look at the old ones, you have to kind of go. You might go through 10 of them before you find one that's really, really. But the newer Epiphones, from what I'm hearing, are better quality. Although I've heard some of them also have some fret issues and what have you. And that was always my complaint with Epiphones. It was that and the electronics. Those switches just would always go out on me. My first electric was a Hagstrom 2. Tell me what the 2 is. My second bass was a Hagstrom bass, and a lot of people had Hagstrom guitars, solid bodies, and the Hagstrom Viking. Hagstrom and Framus were the kind of the low end. The next step down was stuff like Silvertone and Kay, stuff you'd buy at Sears and Montgomery Ward and places like that. Yeah, 355. Yeah, and you drooled every time. Yeah, the well-to-do kids. Yeah, I remember playing with a guy who he didn't play in bands. He played a Gretsch hollow body, and here he was, my age at the time, 17 or 18, and he could nail a bunch of Chet Atkins stuff on that Gretsch, and then he would just nail everything you ever heard that was Hendrix on a Gretsch, and it was pretty impressive. So I actually had two, and now good memory. You have my memory, but it's better than mine. My first Hagstrom was the plastic one with the Naugahyde back, and then the second one was pretty much the same base, but it made out of wood. Yeah, I had both of those. I forgot. Yeah, I mean, I have that Epiphone Swingster, and on my live stream, it's got push pull, and I pulled the knob out, and the knob just came off. And that was when I hand picked at because the guitar store got it, and I don't know what it was, but they were so upset that they had to do fretwork up and down. They had to adjust the neck, adjust the bridge. They had to doll it all up and make it right, and then they put it up on a high shelf so nobody would mess with it. And I came in and said, "What's the deal there?" And they said, "Well, we had to put in a ton of work on that thing to make it even playable, and now it's like the best one we've ever seen. So we don't want people grabbing it." So I bought it. It was $75. Wow, I didn't remember that. Wow. Yeah, those Hagstroms were cool though. I mean, I kind of liked them. If only I'd have kept every guitar I ever owned, huh? Um, so my Framus bass used, my brother bought it used about 3 years before I did, and I was 100 and boy, buying and selling used gear. I tell you, somebody bought it new and traded it in, and they gave him nothing, and then my brother bought it and he traded it in and got nothing, and then I came along. They sold it like 3 times. So I think I paid 100 and a quarter for my Framus bass, and I think my Hagstrom was a little bit more. But yeah, my oldest brother bought, well, bass, one played guitar. They bought 62s. So my middle brother 62 jazz bass, and my oldest brother a 62 Strat. And I think that Strat was, I don't remember. I want to say it was like $385 with the case or something like that back in 62. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The more you learn, yeah, go back out and try things again. And I was looking at the new Reverend, I don't forget what it's called, Roundhouse or something like that. It's a Les Paul shape, but I think it's a thinner body, so it's a little lighter. And then I was looking at the Guild. I don't even remember. I don't remember their models. The Guilds I've been really lucky with in that they have just the yeah, that was probably a lot of money for 62. Yeah, I mean that would be, yeah, $4,000 new now, I guess in this, so with inflation. You're right, Access. Yeah. Although we get something that I think, of course, I was still playing in a band when I bought this, so I thought that'll look cool. And then we ended up not playing so much after that, so I never got around to playing it much. Same with the Explorer. And with arthritis, now I play totally 100% sitting down, or I will be screaming all the rest of the day with a bum neck and shoulder. Yeah, give it to your son, man. It's already worth who knows what. But yeah, don't be. I think people that are, well, Hack's a good example. He really knows his LPs, and so I'm just going to take a guess. He's not going to buy a Reverend Roundhouse or an LTD knockoff or something like that because he really knows, and he knows the pickups too. So and that's where That's where I lack. Every one of these guitars, I just looked the pickups on this, and I can't even tell you. One's an R500 something, and the other's an R4. I don't remember. I have to look it back up. I printed it off. I have to do some research on that, and I don't know anything about them. But um, on that Nighthawk with the, I just knew I loved the tone of those, and so um, I had to when I looked it up, I said, oh, okay, they're Burstbuckers, and I love the tone. Now I'm hearing Burstbucker Pros, so I have no idea how they might be different. But if I come across a guitar with them, I will want to research it. And yes, this is the original 2000 and 2005, 2000s. I can never remember. For the life of me, I can't remember. Well, it's got a 7 and it's got a 5. Oh, the 7, 2007. It's the original plastic. Huh. Did I bang this and knock a chip out of the pickup? I can't quite tell. Oh no, it's like a molding that goes over the top of it, over the two different parts. No. Yeah, I just give Gibson credit, kind of. I call them knockoffs because they're so similar to the original Gibson, and same with Strats. You know, I I don't think there's any bad meaning there. I mean, some of them are clearly. I mean, Leo Fender when he put G and L together, he was looking to make something very similar. Yeah, I don't think Gibson's. I mean, I don't have any real Well, I have the Explorer was about the most. It's about the most expensive guitar I own, give or take 100 or something like that. But most of them. Now I used to have some hollow body jazz boxes that were from the 40s and 50s, and they were a little more expensive. And of course, had I kept them now, I'd have even a better retirement. So, um, but yeah, I mean, here they are on the low end, and I think this was 750 new. I remember after I bought it, I went to another music store and they had correct me what it is, a Jackson. It's a modified V, or a Randy Rhodes maybe. The one wing is shorter than the other, and I remember I played that and I thought, oh my gosh, this was less. It was like $450, and it played. Sears Sensonic Headless Steinberger copy. I'll be darned. I didn't know that must wow. It must have been in the later years, huh, of Sears carrying. Yeah, I mean the Framus and the Hagstroms were the kind of the lower end, and then down below that were the K's and the Harmonies and stuff like that. But now I look back at that old Harmony hollow body bass, I kind of want one. And they came out with a reissue, but they're a few years back, but they were 700. Should have bought one because now they're going for more used than they were new. You won't own any of that stuff. You don't want to buy any. Yeah, I think I've got two Epiphones and that's enough for me. I, I suppose if I came across something that played really well, probably used, it was in great shape, and the price was right, I would consider uh, a Teisco. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, there were a lot in the late 60s, early 70s. The Japanese, they weren't great guitars, but you know, that guy from the Black Keys loves all those old guitars. And Ward's, was it Montgomery Ward that carried they carried the airline, and a lot of those you couldn't find in music stores. They were only at Montgomery Ward or Sears, stuff like that. My oldest brother's first guitar, boy, I wish I had that one. It was a Silvertone, I'm pretty sure, with some sort of metal pickups here. And then the person had taken the neck off and put a Telecaster neck, and it was the coolest little guitar. Uh, and I would love to see that guitar, and if it's still in good shape, and play it one time just to. Oh, Jack White too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Dan Auerbach. I can never remember his name. Yeah, yeah, from the Keys. Yeah. I'm so used to a tremolo. You think the Muse is pretty cool? I was looking at whatever their, I think it's the Muse, but their high-end SG. I've never owned an SG, and I've just come so close so many times. And kind of, I was actually wishing I'd have bought instead of the V. I wish I was bought that they made the faded cherry in the SG as well, and I kind of wish for comfort. Here's how you hold the V when you're sitting down. A Univox. Univox, yeah, Rody, yeah. Univox was the first company I ever saw that came out with back then it was definitely considered a knockoff, but a Beetle bass, a violin shaped bass. And St. George amp, boy, you got me on that one. I've never heard of that one. Wow. Oh, you have a Core 22 and an SE Custom 22 hollow body. I got that right over there. I love the SEs. I think for the money they play, well, their prices are going up. I'm thinking um, now all my SEs are made in Korea, and I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I know they switched to Court and they're made elsewhere now. Cool access. You took an epi. Wow. Yeah. So there's a good option in it, and it probably when you were done was still way cheaper than buying a decent, the high, a good quality Gibson. Your SE is made in Indonesia. Yeah, mine are all made in Korea, so they're pre pre move. I've not played any of the new ones. They're probably just fine. Oh, your dad had a 64. Oh boy, 335. Yeah, you would have liked to have had the first offer on that, huh? Oh, the Tysko had a St. George nameplate too. I'll be darned. I like the SEs. I've really not had any trouble with any of the SEs. Now, like I said, they're all the older ones in Korea. I bought them used at pawn shops for like 250, some of them, and other ones were scratch and dents that I got cheap. But I mean, the last one I bought, well, they wanted 860. It was right before the virus struck, and it was a new old stock that they had shipped down from another store, made one of the made in Korea ones, the Custom 22 semi. And you know, the manager came around. They knew something was up, and they were going to have, and said, and remember, if he buys $1,000 worth of stuff, he gets $200 off immediately at checkout. So I got for $800, I got that guitar with the gig bag and $200 worth of strings, and I even bought a little. I bought a little Champ 20 Fender Champ 20 practice amp, which I must say sounds pretty darn good for a solid state amp, at least on the clean side. Oh, I remember you telling me that he still has a 64 bass, because his bass, is that the one that has the reverse tuning pegs, or the ones that stick out the, I call it the Jack Bruce bass, because that's what Jack actually originally was playing on the regular EVs. Well, folks, I've been going an hour and 9 minutes, and I appreciate you stopping by. I thought I would just come by and do a quick. There's the $400 price tag, down from 4.25, and I originally had it at. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see that, am I? I can't read what that says. 6.25. I paid $750. I couldn't sell it. Couldn't get people to even try it. And now if I sell it, I'm guessing I would get about 1,000 for it. So. Oh, Thrash! I'm going to go back and I'm going to go take a look at that. I am. I'm going to scoot down the road, folks. It's been an hour. It's 11. Pete Thorne's on. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Fender Guru, Metalhead Hippie, Hack, Guitar Hack Streams. I've been watching Quentin James when he does his live streams. I like his playing. Yeah. So I'm forgetting somebody. I know that. So we'll talk to you all later. Oh dear, there it is. Jimmy at 3 p.m. 6 Eastern, 3 p.m. West Coast, yeah. Talk to you all later.